What's up, everybody? Welcome back, man. It's your boy D Friend. We're back in the building with another episode of D Friend Daily. It's been a while. Got a lot of things to get into, a lot of things to discuss. We got the potential Supreme Court picks. We have Kwame Brown, Dwayne Wade. We got the mass violence that's going on against police officers. We're going to talk about that as well, happening all over the country. A lot of things to get into. So before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on post notifications every single time I post. Don't worry about my voice. I lost my voice during the verses. All the screaming, the singing, the yelling, I lost it, but I'm still here. So the first thing I want to get into is the entire controversy surrounding the black woman being nominated potentially and confirmed potentially to the Supreme Court. So when I first saw that news, just me seeing that news, hey, Biden says that he's going to nominate a black woman to the Supreme Court, I say salute. I don't have an issue with that. But it seems to be, for some reason, a major issue. People are making it a civil rights issue. They're making it these things. And when you listen to the arguments, I can understand because, if you look at it and say Donald Trump becomes president again, he says, I'm nominating a white man, right? People will be offended by that. But the thing is, there's already been a million white men. I ain't saying there could never be a white man be a Supreme Court justice again. I don't care if there is. I don't really care. But when someone says, hey, out of the hundreds of Supreme Court justices we've had, none of them been a black woman. So you know what I'm going to do when I become president? And obviously, Joe Biden did this so he could win. Like, let's not think that Joe Biden loves black women. That's not what this is. He went and met with Jim Clyburn. He told him, I'm going to get a black vice president. I'm going to get a black Supreme Court justice. Please save me. Because before Jim Clyburn came out and endorsed Joe Biden, he was almost dead in the water. And those things saved him. So he has to come back on them promises. He has to elect a black one to the Supreme Court. But the thing that I don't like about that I'm hearing on shows that I've watched is that they're making it seem like there's no woman that is a black woman that's qualified to even be in that position. That's what I don't like about that. I watched a guy named Matt Walsh talk about it. I watched Ben Shapiro talk about it. They were saying that, they wouldn't care if they picked who looks to be the most qualified, Ketanji Brown Jackson or Cardi B. That's not what they're doing. They're acting like they're going to walk down the street and see the first black woman and say, hey, you, black lady, you won the lottery. You're on the Supreme Court. No. They're going to find somebody that's qualified. If you look at all these people's qualifications, they're pretty much the same. It just really depends on ideology. What do you believe in? And obviously, Joe Biden is going to pick a woman that is on his side, who's a liberal, who's going to vote the way that he wants them to vote. They say the court shouldn't be that way, but that's just the way that it is. You're not going to see a Republican president that doesn't nominate somebody that's been pushed by the Federalist Society. You're not going to see that because the Federalist Society is where big name conservative lawyers, judges go to play. They're going to push their people. So I don't get what we're acting like this isn't a fucking thing. Yeah, they're acting like Asian dollars. Like, just nominate any black woman, anybody. And I got the list of the women right here. We can read some of their credentials just to get a feel of women who are potentially up for the running because we keep hearing lesser than, unqualified. Let's look at some qualifications. So here's the short list of people, right? We got Ketanji Brown Jackson, who when I read it, and I'm not obviously a law guy, right? But to me, she seems like she would be the most qualified out of everybody. But let's just read some of their credentials, right? So this is how the court is stacked right now. On the conservative side, Roberts, Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, Barrett, Breyer's leaving, so he's leaving, Sotomayor, and Kagan, right? So if a black woman gets in there, pretty much all the liberals will be women. So this is the person who I've seen that, before that, my bad, I got to backtrack real quick because I see a comment from Vicky. Vicky, I seen conservatives saying that shit. I seen Matt Walsh saying that shit. That's stupid. Now, I get the argument that when we say black woman, Obviously, Joe Biden is not going to pick a conservative black woman, right? Because he's a Democrat. They want their policies to be represented on the court. That's the reason why it's so important when a president, whichever side you're on, has the ability to, vote. And I've seen the Matt Walsh guy sound Tucker Carlson. Why not just pick Candace Owens? Because Candace Owens isn't studying in law. She hasn't been to school for constitutional law. That's my idea of how they just said pick Candace Owens because she's a political commentator. They're acting like Joe Biden is just going to pick like Joy Reid or some shit. Like, oh, Joy Reid can do it. She talks about politics on the thing. It's like, Condoleezza Rice, that's what I'm saying. Like, Condoleezza Rice could probably do it because she's been in government. She's probably a past lawyer or whatever. But obviously, she's conservative, so they're not going to pick her. But anyways, Ketanji Brown Jackson, who I said when I've read these things, seems to be like she checks the best boxes, right? So Biden has already elevated Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson once, appointing her last year to the U.S. Court of Appeals of the District of Columbia. And if you don't know, the U.S. District Court of Appeals is the second most powerful federal court that we got. So they say, because I did a lot of reading on this, right? Pretty much, if you want to become a Supreme Court justice, the best court to be on under that is the D.C. Court of Appeals. Most people on there probably are on a lot of people's short list to become the next Supreme Court justice if somebody is taken off, right? So anyways, she's 51 years old. She serves a federal district court in D.C. Because of the appellate appointment, she's already been through a vetting process that included an interview with the president. Fittingly, she clerked for Breyer, so she was a clerk for, what's his name? The guy who's retiring, so that makes sense. She has a degree in Harvard. She has a degree from Harvard Law. She also serves as an assistant federal public defender, making her a prime example of the Biden White House focus on appointing judges with backgrounds that are outside the typical prosecutor and big law box. So, for one, she has the Ivy League credentials that most people are looking for when it comes to these judges, right? She went to Harvard. She went to Harvard Law, so she has the skills and the smarts. She's 51, so for a Supreme Court justice land, that's pretty young. She could potentially, if life allows her, to be a justice till she's at least 80. So that's 30 years you'll have her sitting in that seat. And I'm not going to read everybody. I'm going to read the two topics. So we also have the California Supreme Court Justice Leandra Krueger. So Krueger's 45, which makes her a little bit more, I would assume, desirable because, like I said, you want people that are going to be on the court for a very long time, barring any freak accident or like freak whatever diagnosis. You can assume she'll be there for a while. Krueger is intimately familiar with the Supreme Court, having worked as a clerk for the late Justice John Paul and served as acting deputy solicitor general in the Obama administration. While the solicitor general office, she argued 12 cases in front of the Supreme Court representing the government. At the Justice Department, she also earned the Attorney General's Award for Exceptional Service, the department's highest award for employee performance in 2013-2014. And then she's also on the Supreme Court already for the largest state in America. Now, we could talk policy and shit like that. Is California a great state? Will these ladies get on and vote for things that maybe I wouldn't like? Because you got to think, if either one of these ladies get on, they're going to vote for anything that's like Democrat, right? So like the vax mandate shit that just got knocked down, they would have voted. Most likely they would have voted for that to be implemented. I don't like that. But I also don't like the fact that they're trying to make this seem like these black women that they're talking about are in no way qualified at all to even be up for this position, right? So I was watching, like I said, Ben Shapiro talk about it, and he was pretty much getting on conservatives' ass because they wouldn't do things that Democrats would do. Democrats will vote for people that they know will hardline, lockstep with their agenda. He said conservatives won't do that. They'll try to get people that maybe everybody will like or whatever like that. My thing is, hey, if they're doing it, you do it. Fuck it. If it fucks shit up, I can't really control that. That's how politics works. So he brought up this guy named Ilya Shapiro, something like that. So I looked him up. He's a lawyer, knows a shit ton about Supreme Court, constitutional law, this, that. He said that Biden, in summary, Biden and his team would rather pick a lesser black woman than someone who's actually qualify for the job. And I just read you Ketanji Brown's her resume, right? Harvard Law. She's on the second most powerful court in the land behind the Supreme Court. Qualifications to me seem to be there. Like if you look at her and you look at everybody who's on there, you're not going to see too many differing qualifications, except for these guys already in the Supreme Court and they've been there for a while. And he brought up, I ain't gonna get into all that. Yeah, black women should, I don't have a problem with it, right? And I saw a clip yesterday on the internet. I meant to pull it to play it because I didn't hear people complaining then. When Ronald Reagan was running for president before he became president, he made a similar vow. Now, he didn't specify by race, but he did say, I'm going to elect a woman to the Supreme Court. He said it before he, got elected. Same thing Biden said, but he just specified race and gender. Before Trump nominated Amy Coney Barrett, he got on his stage at his rally and said, I'm going to put a woman in the Supreme Court. I didn't hear too much, groaning and moaning about that. So when it all comes down to it, I don't really have a problem with this. Now, I don't know if this should be like a trending thing forever. Like, hey, let's just only get this class of people in there. Because after a while, it tends to get a little discriminatory. But let's be honest, bro. It's been 120 years of, not 120. It's been like 100 something justices. It's typically been like white men. Like I said, I don't have a problem with white men if they of the job, if they have the qualifications and whoever's president likes them, they go through the vetting, the senators approve them. Fuck it, let them in there. But I don't think this is like a trend. Like, okay, now from now on, anyone is going to be a black woman. Or anyone is going to be a whatever. You know what I'm saying? So let me read some of the comments real quick before I lose my damn voice. Vicky said, I don't want anyone who is far into the non-binary shit. No way. No one who's too progressive. I don't think they're qualified if they will force people to get vaxxed. It should be illegal. Legislation still won't get passed either way. She could be green for all I care. Checks and balances, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then honestly, it's like, you gotta think about it like this. If she gets in, if it's Ketanji Brown or it's Leandra Krueger, I feel like those are two of the front runners. But if it's either one of them, nothing's gonna change. You're replacing Breyer, who's a liberal, for another liberal. So regardless, it's 6-3. 3 liberals, 6 conservatives. John Roberts sometimes votes with the liberals. Brett Kavanaugh voted with the liberals on the hospital vaccine mandates, not the workers just in general. He did vote with them on the hospital one, but still, it's still 6-3, right? So that's pretty much all I just seen out. It just felt like they was just saying like, oh, he's just gonna pick any fucking random woman who is a black woman he sees walking down the road. It's gonna be a aide who works with the press secretary. Like, well, hey, maybe you could do it. No, there's some pretty qualified candidates now. Do you like their policies and politics? Probably not. But as far as qualified for a job like this, these two ladies seem qualified. Now, that's why I said you get to the crevice of, do you agree with their political philosophy, or at least not even supposed to be really their political, it's supposed to be how they interpret the Constitution. That's really what they're not supposed to be. Like, hey, I'm a judge that's a Republican. It's supposed to be how you read the Constitution, originalist, textualist, things of that nature. Like when you get into that judge talk shit, that's how it's supposed to be. But everybody's human. Everybody knows how they feel about shit. Everybody has these voting for you, or they're not nominating you if they don't know kind of where you stand. Now you can sit there and be like, well, I'm just a judge and I'm just following the Constitution, and we know, right? If every time it's a liberal thing come up, you vote for it. Every time it's a Republican thing, you know what kind of side you stand on. So that's pretty much all for that, right? So the next thing I want to get into, which I feel like some of you will be interested in, is this Kwame Brown, Dwayne Wade thing. Now, I was going to make a video about Kwame Brown last week because I was watching the decline in his channel, and it was just interesting to see how everybody not everybody, but people he was pulling up, like people who were championing him, people who were on his side, they began to turn on him. Like they just started, like he got into a Gilbert Arenas, and maybe they like Gilbert Arenas more than they like Kwame Brown, or they saw that Kwame Brown was on the downturn, so they was jumping off the ship, and instead of praising him now, they're shitting on him. That's what looked to be happening. And that's kind of what happens when you rise up. Like, you gonna rise fast, people gonna ride your coattails, but as soon as they see a little bit of a dip and then they see a alley to cut your head off, that's essentially what some people that were once like super Kwame Brown supporters on YouTube began to do. Not his followers, I'm talking about actual content creators started to come and like cut his head off. But this is the latest thing that made him go viral. So he was discussing Dwayne Wade and Dwayne Wade's child, Zaya, or Zaya, I think it's Zaya, something with a Z, Wade, in wearing a dress to commemorate Kobe. Let's take a look at that.
I don't think nobody else is honoring Kobe Bryant by wearing a dress. Kobe Bryant was a masculine man who, when out my shoulder, Kobe Bryant said, I don't give a damn, shoot it with your left hand. This man's mindset was golden. This man's mindset was, I can do anything. And guess where he came from, brother Dwayne? Out of high school. Kobe Bryant, there's not a one thing, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant and his daughter. But I understand the mindset that he probably was giving his children. Do you know how great his oldest daughter mentality probably was, having a daddy like Kobe Bryant? That the time that you want to give up, the time that you shoulder, the time that is this, he gonna come to you and say, hey, that the other shoulder work. That old school ancestral nature that Kobe Bryant had. People don't like to talk about that. They want to call him a mamba, but no, that was his ancestors. Kobe Bryant didn't give up on shit. And some people got rubbed the wrong way by that. Hell, even me at times. But how do you now honor a man with so much masculinity, so much since a teenager, that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me? Because that's some of the personal conversations that me and Kobe had. Through Christ, he believed he could do anything. Now, how does that tie in with a teenage kid who feels like he's a woman now? How does that tie in with him putting this man's jersey into a mucking dress? Black people, if you don't wake up, there's only doing this to black people. Look at how they honor us.
I don't know why. let me just pause real quick. I don't know why when we see like a gay black person do something, we tend to like act like it's only overly over the top gay people in the black community that are being promoted. I see over the top white gay people all the time. And pretty much the rest of the video, he continues just going to the wearing the dress thing and all whatever, right? So as far as the Dwayne Wade and his child thing goes, my thought process, I don't give a fuck because it's not me. I'm pretty like on things, I'm like pretty libertarian on shit, like most things really. Like it's you and it's me. Salute Charles Edward Cheese. You ain't been in the building in a while. You missed a whole bunch of verses, but salute to you. I'm pretty like, do what the fuck you want to do. That's your family, right? Dwayne Wade's family is his family. Do what you want to be. Do what you want to do. Whatever, right? I'm not here to police every black person. I'm not here to police every Italian. Like I just can't police everybody. Like people gonna do what they want to do. You gonna do what you want to do in your home. It's just the way that it's framed. Like the way Kwame Brown is talking about is like Dwayne Wade's child wearing the dress was like the pinnacle of celebration. Like that was the one that everybody looked to. Like they had, let's just say the Lakers set up a presentation for Kobe, and Like to commemorate Kobe, we're bringing out Dwayne Wade's child. Like that ain't what happened. It's just I made an Instagram post. Just like millions of other people made an Instagram post, but we just decided to focus on that one because it makes us a little uncomfortable, right? Like I get it because if my son at 11 years old came to me and said, "Hey, Daddy, I'm a woman." No, you're not. I'm sorry. Like I love you, but you're not. Maybe you want to play with dolls or whatever, but you're not a woman, right? And I know that's a foreign concept because now we just got to give it up whenever somebody says they're this, they're that. But like thousands of years, it's been one way. And now in the last 5, really vocally, not saying it's never happened before 5 years ago, but more of a vocal presence, everybody's got to just accept it. And everybody's not going to accept it. That's just the way the world's going to work. I'm sorry to tell you. But the way he framed it, that my thing is just the way he framed it. I don't disagree totally with everything he's saying as far as like having a son that becomes a woman or whatever. Really not a woman because still a child, a girl. But, you know, the way he's framed it, like later, he was like, you never see a homosexual commemorate Elvis, or we would never let a homosexual commemorate Elvis. Like, yes, they would. But in his mind, it feels like he's making it to where Dwayne Wade's child's whatever. What do you call that? Commemoration of Kobe or what? Like tribute to Kobe is the main tribute that's out there in the world. Like this is the one we decided you're going to commemorate Kobe on his 2-year anniversary. There's just another one of millions that posted a picture. But because Dwayne Wade's famous, he's in the NBA, obviously, third best shooting guard ever. We're going to be attached to that one for some reason. I saw it like in the dress. Who gives a fuck? That's his son. Let him rock. It's not just I'm a woman. Don't wear a dress in my honor. I'm not even here to speak on it. Let's be honest. Like we're saying, like Kwame Brown saying these things about Kobe Bryant. Do y'all really? If Kobe was alive, do y'all really think Kobe Bryant would have gave a fuck? Most likely not. Kobe Bryant's kids probably would have been friends with Dwayne Wade's child if Kobe Bryant was still alive. So to think that Kobe Bryant would have gave a fuck to me is crazy because he was an assassin on the court. This doesn't make any, it's all really just, I mean, I guess I'm assuming here too that he wouldn't care. But like I said, if Kobe Bryant was alive, I'm sure his daughters would play with Dwayne Wade's kids if they were like in the same vicinity. And if he saw that, say it was Kobe Bryant going to the Hall of Fame, right? He's getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. Everybody's posting Kobe jerseys. Everybody's posting Kobe memories. And Dwayne Wade's child posted a Kobe Bryant dress. Kobe Bryant's going to say, fuck, move all the other fucking tributes out the way. Why the fuck is your child who used to be a boy turned into a girl? What? He wouldn't give a fuck. He wouldn't even say nothing about it. That's what I'm saying. Y'all saying choose to honor. Like that is the ultimate tribute was by this person. The Lakers, his wife, everybody. Like, you know how they built that statue where they crashed at, right? The statue's right there where the helicopter crashed. You act like they had a huge press conference and they were like, to read the tribute, to do a speech, we're bringing out Dwayne Wade's child. Come out in the dress. It's like, bro, it's just a fucking Instagram post. Who gives a fuck? Like, honestly, who gives a fuck? There's so much more shit that really matters. But I get it. It's good people like that because people feel that way. I just don't feel as strongly about it. Now, like I said, I care about shit when I see teachers in schools actively pushing kids to do certain shit. I care about shit like that. I care about schools covering up girls getting raped in the bathroom. Like, I care about shit like that. I don't care about Dwayne Wade's son wearing a Kobe Bryant dress because they chose to represent Kobe. Like, that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, you bypassed pretty much you bypassed everybody who paid Kobe a tribute because that one person did it that way. That one person did it that way. Obviously, they're going to do it that way. They're eccentric. I guess, I don't know. It's like, I'm gay. I don't know. Whatever. Transgender, whatever. They're going to do it that way. I just don't see it as that big of a deal. If I was Kobe and I saw that, I'll be like, hell no, what the fuck is this? I mean, that's you. That's you. That's fine. I don't have, but the thing is also, if you do feel that way, I don't have an issue with it. I'm just speaking on how I wouldn't give a fuck. Like, if I had a jersey, like I was a player and I died, and I'm like literally probably one of the most famous basketball players of all time, and on the 2-year commencement of my death, millions of people celebrate me. You know how many probably other trans people or gay people made Kobe's jerseys into probably bras and all kind of shit? This ain't fucking. We celebrating this nigga life. He was amazing. He was a GOAT. It's like that's how they choose to celebrate. Now, when Dwayne Wade posts girl dad, it's kind of like all right. I mean, hey. But also, what you expect Dwayne Wade to do? You expect him to go and be like, hell no, you ain't a girl, or you ain't a girl, you're a boy, this and that. That's not the way that man want to raise his kids. Everybody's allowed to raise their kids how they want to raise their kids. And that's how I look at it. It's a fear thing. We feed off the most things that can relate to what we are taught as children. They need to stop changing children's identities at a young age. A number 8 on the jersey. I feel like people care about other people's decisions way too much. Put it like this. Keep that shit to yourself. Wear, dress as much as you want, but not in memory of someone. It's about Kobe and his career, not your sexuality right now. But also, it's like they didn't say anything. They just put on a jersey. He didn't say, like, I'm happy trans girl. I love Kobe. He probably loved trans people. He just put on a fucking jersey with a skirt underneath it, really. I kind of genuinely feel like Dwayne basically sold his child life for cookie points from the LGBT community. Everybody comparing the way they want. If it was me, 18, and you could do what you want to do. That's what I'm saying. Like, you ain't gotta go, you ain't gotta go along with your child forever. Like, once they turn 18, they really gonna do whatever the fuck they want to do. Like, at the end of the day, if your child think that whatever, once they turn 18, I mean, it's a wrap. You really can't do nothing about that. But even the comment about Dwayne Wade, I don't know. I just seen the picture. Now, maybe there is LGBTQ. Let me see. I'm pulling it up right now. What's his name? Did Dwayne Wade post it? So, okay, here it is. It says, always, I don't know if you can see that. Always remembering and honoring Kobe and Gianna. Got the number 8 jersey, and then the next picture is Dwayne Wade, Zaya Wade, Kobe's wife and daughter. I mean, what's going on with D Wade? Anyways, he turned to a simp. What's a pupke? I never heard that before. I mean, I don't know. Like, when we say he turned into a simp, I don't know what he was like before he was with Gabrielle Union. What was he doing before? He probably always been like that. I think it's just now we see him with a child who's in the LGBTQ, and as a father, he's deciding how he wants to go about raising that child. It's like, that's what he wants to do. He's a grown-ass man, successful, taking care of his family. If that's the way he thinks that his family should be raised, I know I see the criticisms are Gabrielle Union's the reason that this is going on in their household, or things like that. Let me see, a simple post of Kobe and RP would have. Y'all really think that thing's that wild, huh? I just don't look at it as wild. I don't know. It's because it's a trans person in the dress, right? It's not that it's just a dress with Kobe. It's the person that's in the dress that is alarming to people. I mean, obviously, that's the reason. Because if anybody else would wear a dress, nobody would give a fuck. But since his daughter is trans or something. I don't fucking know. It's trans. That's the issue. I mean, it feels like Lil Nas X type trolling. But that's my thing with it. I don't even think they're thinking about it that deep. I think it's just like, hey, I want to be girly. I'm gonna do Kobe's jersey in a way that fits my family. That's how I look at it. I don't. My point is really, I don't give a fuck. Do what they want to do. That's how they do it. I don't get the big thing. I know every time we see a black LGBTQ person, everybody's so scared. Like, oh shit, the gay agenda's coming. They're coming for me. Ah, my family. Bro, run your household as you run your household. That's it. We had a whole discussion on the podcast, absolutely sure, about what is actually more detrimental to the black community. Gangster shit being promoted or LGBTQ, and obviously it's gangster shit. That's like more, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into that in a second too, about labels promoting it, labels like, I mean, like, yeah, it's two different instances, but like, is this boogeyman really that prevalent? Of course, there's gay people, there's black trans people, but I think there's more issues, more, like I said, it's like a window of things to look at, and there's bigger problems in my opinion. You might think differently, in my opinion, than that. And that's always brought up as the big boogeyman. Nah, these celebrities are strategic no matter the age. I agree that I don't care, but I'll give my thoughts real quick if I see it. But regardless of my views, if you want to inflict confusion and tell your children lies for a trend and the government won't do anything about it, then do you? Well, with Dwayne Wade, does he tell? I mean, I guess he's indulging in his child's thought process. So, I mean, I can see that. Bro, we're talking about death. You got to be sensitive about that. I mean, look at this convo right now. It's all about him and not Kobe. He's getting clout and hiding it under tribute. What's wild is I always think the community got it crisscross. Trans woman equals women switching, and trans man equals man switching to woman. It's the other way around. Trans woman is man to woman. Trans man is woman to man. If you are gay, then the black community is not growing. That's a fact. But do you think more black people are being like murdered and sent to prison, which also halts procreation, or gay? Like, it's like 43 million abortions last year. It's like, what are we really like? We're gonna have real conversations, like real substantive, like they're really going on. Like, come on, we can have nuanced conversations of why certain shit goes on, but oh, you gay, you can't, stopping the babies, but 43 million abortions in 1 year, that's a lot of kids. And I'm not saying you can't focus on both, but I wouldn't like bastardize or whatever gay people because they're gay as far as procreation when there's a very more prevalent issue to procreation than that. Also, gay dudes can still procreate. Look at Atlanta. Both are not helping grow the community. I'm pro-life. Hey, I fuck with it. See, that's the thing too. Like, that's why I say I feel like I'm more libertarian than like super conservative or super liberal. It's because like I'm pro-life in my life, but like I just really don't be caring what other people do unless it affects me. That's why, like, when I see shit get implemented in schools that my children could potentially go to, or I see wild, crazy type of laws, like when I see a judge telling a dad that he has no right to if his child gets the vaccine or not. Like, when I see shit like that, that's when I'm like, whoa, hold up, what's going on here? But, I feel like people don't fuck with the black LGBTQ ASHDHEJ because of, I really read all that shit, because of the known agendas against black men throughout history. I mean, yeah, you can look at like buck breaking and things of that nature, emasculating black men when they were slaves to have women look down on them, raping women in front of black men who couldn't do nothing to protect women, which also emasculated black men in the eyes of black women. Like, yeah, there's a lot of things that could be discussed that like tie into it. You know, like you could talk about all those things, but like I said, it's a lot of things that go into it, right? So that's pretty much what I got on the Dwayne Wade shit. Like, respect Kwame Brown. He got his opinion on it. He feels very strongly about it, and everybody has strong opinions. I fuck with it. Just everybody had their own thoughts, opinions, processes, and whatever, right? So, speaking of, like, I don't know if this is really protest and outrage and shit like that, but you know what? Nah, I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about the violence. So I want to talk about this. So I don't know if I've seen recently, and I don't know where y'all live individually who's watching. Crime, and I've been talking about this for weeks, crime has been skyrocketing through the roof. Crime has been going crazy. Murders, homicides have increased in pretty much every major city across the United States. People got where to point blame. People got who did this, who did that. But it's seeming like it's all turning to pretty much certain policies created by new DAs that are pretty much fostering and growing crime rates. What's the schedule? Absolutely sure. It's typically Wednesdays at 9:30 or Saturdays 9:30. Those are typically the 2 days. It'll be only those 2 days, either Saturday 9:30 or Wednesday 9:30. So, anyways, this week in Houston alone, 5 police officers were shot. I know people don't. I see motherfuckers as seemingly think they're not these dirty cops, not these cops. They're just cops trying to protect people. They all been shot this week. So this was yesterday, 2 days ago. 3 police officers shot, suspect in custody following a standoff. So a suspect who allegedly shot 3 Houston police officers have been taken into custody following a standoff. The police, HPD, said the suspect has been taken into custody. So I've seen the video. I'm not going to play the video, obviously, for YouTube. Pretty much, police pulled up on this guy. There was a call for him. He had some type of semi-automatic weapon. They pulled up. He started shooting at them. There was high-mounted cars. He shot 3 of them. He ran off, carjacked somebody, went to his home or somebody's home, and he was in a standoff, held in there for however long. He's out. They got him, right? Also this week, a guy was doing a routine traffic stop, pretty much assassinated by some guy named Rogelio or something like that. He drove down to Mexico. They caught him in Mexico. Another police officer killed. Then there was another one. I just don't remember the details on it. Another one killed as well. And I said, I've been giving a lot of flack to places like Chicago. I mean, and it ain't just people. I've seen murders of regular people being killed senselessly. I saw literally in Houston, gas station attendant. You think usually when you rob somebody, like you pull up on them, you point the gun, give me the money, just go like that, right? You get the money and you get to go. No, he just came up and it's just really shot the clerk in the head, just like, fuck it. Another guy killed a guy at Whataburger, shot him in the head. He fell, stood over his body, shot him 5 more times. Shit's getting crazy. Now I was thinking to myself, I was like, I really can't be going out here and look at LA, look at Chicago, look at New York. It's shit here in my own goddamn city. So that's what's really going on. Crime is skyrocketing. Crime is going crazy. DAs, certain policies, bail reform, this and that. And all that shit, and I've said many times, is a double-edged sword because there are certain policies, there are certain systematic things that have been put in place that do harm people with the justice system. False arrest, too long of bails for petty crimes, all these things. But it seemed like they're just trying to lump everything in and just let people be free. Let people go. Indiana wild too. And the thing about crime is, and I'm going to talk about that too. The thing about crime, like celebrate that shit. I was literally looking at Vicky's Instagram where she posted guys that were discussing the guy who killed Young Dolph was caught in their city, and they was like celebrate. No, this the murder. We killed people down here. We would have like they're celebrating the fact that they kill people or they're known for killing. Like how is that a thing that's openly celebrated? It just doesn't make sense. And when I talk about open celebration and what right here, 16-year-old rapper and gang member charged with shooting an NYPD cop already on probation for gun possession walks free on bond with record deal money following just 9 days in juvenile detention. So I seen this story like a week and a half ago, but I guess now it's been resolved. Or not resolved, but he's out on bail after he shot a police officer. A 16-year-old aspiring rapper and alleged gang member charged with shooting a New York City cop in the Bronx is walking free on bond Thursday, infuriating the union representing NYPD officers. Cameron Williams, aka C Blue, was locked up in a Brooklyn Juvenile Detention Center on gun and assault charges for shooting Officer Kasim Pennant, 27, on January 18th. Just 9 days later, he posted a $250,000 bail using money from his record deal advanced on his contract with Interscope Records as he walked free. They clashed with police officers last week when they responded to reports of unrest and he refused to comply with their orders to remove his hands from his pockets. He began fighting with one of the officers, and during the tussle, he accidentally shot Pennant. A single bullet struck, wounded Pennant, and hit Williams in the groin. Pennant was released from the hospital just hours later on January 19th. Williams identified himself as a member of Subset of the Crips, was already on probation for a 2021 gun possession arrest, was also taken to the hospital before being taken to juvenile detention. Fights police officers, police get shot. I didn't even see it until now. I ain't gonna lie to you, accidental, but still, it just amazes me what record labels are. It always brings me back to what Dave Chappelle said about DaBaby. DaBaby could be canceled. DaBaby could be whatever for comments made, albeit made, not the greatest comments to make, but comments made. But labels will sign guys they know with extensive, violent, criminal nature, and they won't drop them for that nothing. Like, I don't agree with the country star Morgan Wallen, right? He said he was just flapping off the N-word, right? He was just going crazy. N-word, N-word this, N-word that, right? He was like a dispute with somebody or something. Label dropped him. Country music stations dropped his music. He was pretty much, he beat cancellation, but essentially in the beginning, he was canceled because of saying the N-word. But just for example, Pusha T shoots a guy in the ass, robs him, shoots a security guard because his money fell on the ground. I haven't heard of no label dropping him at all. Not get it because rap, that's a part of the lifestyle. It's cool, it's whatever. But just make you really look at these things like, what does the label consider bannable and what do they allow and what don't they allow? And when you see certain shit that they do allow, you start to look at what's really your agenda here. What are you willing to push here? But you're not willing to let this thing slide. This is good, but that's pretty much only the premise of this conversation. It just made me think about certain shit. I genuinely feel like if my friend was killed by a white person, the community would have cared about her death. And that's a sad case. Because people care that your friend was killed, no matter who killed her. It just, am I frozen? All right, I'm back. But yeah, like I said, people should have cared about your friend dying no matter who killed her. I talked about this years ago. He only did a month. Now that shit sounds crazy. But my point is, I talked about this years ago. It happened here in Houston. A lady, am I mute still? No, I'm good now. A lady was shot in her Altima. No, her child was shot and killed in an Altima. Initial reports came out saying that it was a white guy that shot this little black girl. Oh my God, everybody's outraged. Wall-to-wall news coverage. Everybody's talking about it. As soon as the news found out that the suspect was a black guy now because of video surveillance, radio silence. No huge media coverage. No more hashtag for the young girl got killed. No more nothing. Once they found out it wasn't a white guy, which to me is insane because if that's my child, I don't give a damn who did it. White, black, Hispanic, Asian. Like, I don't want my child to be your narrative or your ad getter, your attention getter, whatever getter that you got or trying to push. And this shit like that, you see in the media that's like, that's despicable. That's like nasty shit.
Nasty bitch.
So this is the last thing we'll talk about, and we're gonna get out of here because there seems to be an issue with people being around P. Diddy parties and sexual assault, right? We saw recently with Trey Songz, I read stories about him where a girl accused him of doing shit around P. Diddy's club or P. Diddy's parties or P. Diddy's whatever. And this isn't to say P. Diddy did anything. It's just saying that it seems like certain things happen around P. Diddy's party. So Chris Brown is once again being accused of some kind of sexual misconduct once again. So Chris Brown sued for $20 million after a woman alleges he raped her. So weeks after it was shared that both Trey Songz and Diddy were named in a $20 million sexual assault lawsuit, Chris Brown is facing a similar accusation in a legal battle of his own. According to TMZ, Brown is at the center of a scandal after a woman, only referred to as Jane Doe, sued the singer for $20 million. She reportedly alleged that Brown raped her on a yacht and that was stationed at Diddy's Star Island mansion in Miami. Why has Diddy always got to be drugged into these sexual assault debacles? The unknown accuser is described as being a professional choreographer, dancer, model, and musical artist. The alleged incident was said to have occurred on December 30th, 2020. Similar, the thing about this that makes it look a little, suspicious is that this is pretty much the same timeline that the other girl gave for Trey Songz. Like she said, right before New Year's, it was like December 31st, 2020 at Diddy's New Year's Eve party. And this one is also December 30th, 2020, right before a P. Diddy New Year's Eve party. So after Jane Doe was FaceTiming with a friend who was reportedly at Diddy's residence, the accuser stated in court documents that Brown allegedly grabbed the phone and invited her to the get-together. In the docs, she claims she entered the kitchen with Chris, where he gave her a red cup with a mixed drink, and they started talking. After he filled her cup a second time, she claims he began to feel a sudden, unexplained change in consciousness. So pretty much she's saying she got Bill Cosby by Chris Brown.
Got him. We fucking got him.
Jane Doe alleged that Brown prohibited her from leaving the room, took off her bikini bottoms, and began kissing her as she told him to stop. She accused the singer of rape and said he ejaculated inside her, jumped up and announced he was done. The following day, Jane Doe alleged that Brown contacted her and advised her that she should take a plan B. She claims she did just that. According to the woman's attorney, Ariel Mitchell and George Vrabeck, the alleged victim opted to not contact the authorities at the time because she was a medical student and was embarrassed. Now, I know when it comes to these cases, you see things, wealthy guy, young woman saying she was sexually assaulted. We see the history of this type of, you know, extortive sexual assault allegations. I don't know. I would like to ask women more than like men. And I don't know. This is a wild question, so I don't even know if I like. Because I just don't understand it about the embarrassment part. That's just me. Because I would like to, when my daughter, if anything was to ever happen to her, to just don't be. This is not embarrassing. You did nothing wrong. This guy's a piece of shit. He should be in prison or dead. Right? Because for pretty much what she's saying, if she would have went to the police in the hospital that day, she would have had Chris Brown signed, sealed, and delivered. Obviously, he ejaculated in you, semen's on you. They could have looked for rape. Well, I don't know what they do in rape kits, but whatever they check that out. She had him signed, sealed, delivered right there with a criminal trial. Obviously, he probably could be like, well, no, it's consensual. And also, she said that she had thing put in her drink. And this is a victim statement. This is just like this. If everything to count as what she's saying is true, she had a layup, chance at trial to get Chris Brown sent to prison if he's actually raping people. Ejaculated inside of you, they would have got the semen. Obviously, he had sex with you that you would see some type of vaginal whatever. And then you said something made you feel unconscious. Talk screen would have told you what was making you feel that way. If we can throw in I don't know what makes girls woozy. I'm not into that type of shit, so I don't know. You throw that on top, it's a trifecta. We got your semen. We got vaginal damage that is consistent with rape. And we have her talk screen, which shows she was given something that made her queasy. But now, almost 2 years later, girl charges Trey Songz and Diddy $20 million, and then now you do it. It can be looked at as a little bit fishy. That's all I'm saying. Now, as I said with Trey Songz, I can say the same with Chris Brown. There have been a lot of allegations, whether it be women being sexually assaulted in your home. You, obviously, the Rihanna shit happened, but that's different from sexual assault. But also other women claiming you've done violence towards them in other manners. There's all these allegations that pile up. But to me, this case, at the time, now she said she was embarrassed. I get it, I guess. But to me, that looks shut and dry. Semen, vaginal abuse or whatever, when do rape kit. Toxicology report shows you were given Molly, Quaalude, whatever. He's done. So Chris Brown did respond. He just said pretty much, what a coincidence. Every time I'm about to drop a project or I begin to do something positive, allegations like these tend to spill out into the media, or conversations like this tend to spill out into the media. I honestly don't believe most of these women, based on my everyday interaction with women, 98% of women that could get their way to Chris Brown and his celebrity already have their mind made up. They plan on sleeping with them or doing whatever they want. But also, that's a dangerous mindset to have too, because you would also think that it's open season for a predator, because they know that the masses will think that. Because automatically, when you see a guy like Chris Brown, super wealthy, super famous, R&B superstar, could get any girl in the world. If a girl cries rape, you're like, rape, he can get any girl he wants. Why would he do that? You would assume that. But we kind of have to take a back pedal, because we've seen plenty of highly successful, highly influential, good-looking guys end up being rapists. We just have. Because they go in with the mindset of, I can get any girl I want. Any girl, every girl would want me because I'm Chris Brown. or I'm Trey Songz. No, I want to just use them. But any guy who's influential, successful, gets women, whatever, they go into that thinking, I can get any girl. And as soon as a girl says, oh, no, I wasn't really trying to do that, they're like, no, yes, you do. Every other girl. So then I'm not saying this happens in this situation, but that's the danger of having that type of mentality. But it's only celebrities to watch who they're around. It's dangerous. Yeah. It's like, you just got to be really hyper aware. And like I said, I'm sure Trey Songz and Chris Brown be with a lot of women, so it's easy for them to get caught up in a lot of these different situations. IDK, it happens. It happened to me about 4 times in my life, but at the end of the day, I blame myself a lot because I shouldn't have been in that environment. I mean, I don't agree with that. Like, I get it, but, and I'm sorry that happened to you because that's fucked up, as you say, 4 times. But I think that's another mentality we like to put on women to like absolve blame of the guy. Well, you should have been out there. Like, I get that too. Like, there's a lot about self-preservation and being aware of your surroundings. Like I say all the time, I typically try to not go to gas stations at night. Anywhere. I could be in the swankiest part of town, or I could be in the worst part of town. I tend to not like to go to gas stations at night because you don't know what happened. I don't like going to these clubs everybody likes going to because every weekend you constantly see person shot, innocent bystander. I just don't put myself in the situations. But at the end of the day, it's still way more the fault of the what do they call it? The abuser than the person who becomes victimized. Because at the end of the day, if you were sexually assaulted by 4 different people, or maybe the same person 4 different times, at the end of the day, they are still the monster at the end of the day. It's like I was watching the show, and little kid doing dumb shit, talking to a person online, fake meet up with this guy's dad. Well, the dad is actually the predator, but he's acting like, oh, I'm picking you up so you can play with my son Timmy. And obviously this is a wild, different from, I don't know, whatever age you were to them, but still, same scenario. Kid knows he's not supposed to leave the house on his own. Kid knows he's not supposed to go with just random strangers. He does. He gets sexually assaulted by the man. Is that the kid's fault? I know people, oh, he shouldn't have done this. Yeah, but like at the end of the day, the abuser is the big evil piece of shit. Adult men and women need to check themselves. Women see all the allegations, but still want to hang with these men. Men see accusations, but still invite random women around. I get what you're saying, but I've seen women around these celebrities, they lose their mind. I'm not saying that, but that's the thing. I'm not saying that there's not women that would just sleep with any celebrity or anything. But my point is, having the mindset that any woman that goes around will sleep with and probably should or whatever sleep with is how you get people. That's how you get a motherfucker like Bill Cosby get 80 allegations, right? That's how you get R. Kelly, which also with R. Kelly, it's more like help of parents. I watched, I believe it was Kelly Price was on Vlad TV, and she was speaking about how parents used to bring their kids to the backstage and introduce them to R. Kelly so R. Kelly could get their kids on. And it's like, even if you believe the allegations about Michael Jackson, you see the parents were just allowing their kids to do, like I was watching the documentary on HBO, and the kid was saying that him and his parents went to meet with Michael Jackson at a hotel. And I don't know if it was the kid or if it was Michael Jackson that suggested that, hey, could little Timmy stay with me in my room and we can play and do whatever and be whatever? The parents were like, sure. I don't give a good goddamn if it was Drake himself. I'm not letting Drake hang out with my kid by himself, spend the night with Drake in his room by himself. What the hell are y'all thinking? But that's different from what we really talking about. But still, it's like people really do wild shit like that. If you know Trey Songz got allegations around him, why would you then try everything in your power to get around him and not be willing to do anything? Damn, y'all going off in the comments. Let me see. A kid is different than an adult. Yeah, I get it. I can't rock with the logic. Everyone needs to be held accountable no matter what. Okay. Damn, guess you got to record every session. Audio only should suffice. Never a child's fault, but I was an adult. I spent time with celebrities, but never had issues with them. It's the everyday man I've had issues with. Kelly Price told the truth. Women need to take accountability. I never seen women take accountability for actions. But you got to like women like, and when you say take accountability, you're talking about taking accountability like, hey, you know this guy is a piece of shit, but you continue hanging around him. I get that. There's a piece of accountability that should go into that. If you go to the club, I know people don't like this, but if you go to the club and you have a see-through dress on, your titties out, you got thong, like you just out there, you got to know. Now, is it right for men to be grabbing on you, groping you? Do it? No, but you got to know, like, this will probably happen here. It's like if I get $100,000 and I'm walking around with $100,000 like out of these duffel bags in a place where people don't got a lot of money, and I get robbed, it's kind of like, motherfucker, you like, what are you doing? You know what you're doing. So I get both sides, but when it comes to a guy acting on that and raping a woman, it's like, yeah, there's a count. Oh, well, but it's more like, am I really gonna like berate the woman in this instant, or am I gonna look at the fucking rapist and be like, he's a raping piece of shit? Now, can we look at this as like, hey, let's make better decisions next time so this shit doesn't happen? But then I'm still gonna look at like, he's a rapist. Like he's a rapist. Like I don't see a woman at the club with no clothes on, be like, well, I just gotta get her whether she wants it or not. Like, no, you're a rapist. Comedy favorite red flag, as women like to say. The truth is, the women don't have real friends anymore. I would never let my homeboy get taken advantage of. But see, the thing about that is, you say you would never let your homeboy get taken advantage of. He would let himself be taken advantage of. Like, think about it like this. And this is the last thing I'm talking about. Let me get out of here. Whenever Cardi B was setting up guys, taking her to hotels and robbing them, you try to tell your homeboy not to go back to the hotel with Cardi B, he gonna tell you, shut the fuck up, leave me alone. I'm going back with this girl. And then after it happens, he gonna be like, damn, man, why you know, he gonna pretty much do whatever the fuck he wanna do at that point. Put him on information, you know it. I took it home and enjoyed that. And that's that Rick Ross shit, you know. Got that Reebok deal going. Like, for example, women drunk sleeping with a guy and see as a victim, but a drunk we deciding to drive is held accountable for that action. Women drunk sleeping with a guy is seen as
You're a victim.
a victim.
There we go.
I'm trying to think of how that correlates to drunk driving. Like, I'm trying to think, like, a woman gets drunk and she sleeps with a guy. She's a victim. But a drunk we deciding to drive is held accountable for that action. So what are you saying? I don't know. I don't know too much about the drunk shit. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I feel like that used to be the thing. Like, people would just get drunk together at parties and they'd have sex. But I guess nowadays it's like, it's completely like, now it's a rape thing. I don't know if it's always been, but when you watch movie TVs when you was younger, it was just like a thing that happened at fraternities and parties or whatever. I don't know. You could be right, but I don't know. And if he goes and get robbed, he'll be laughed at. Women don't get laughed at for being. I mean, that's one. I don't know, man. Now I'm thinking about it. It's one of those situations. If he gets robbed, he'll be called a dumbass. I still feel bad for him, but people will call him a dumbass. I don't know. It's very layered. It's like I said, it should be just so layered. It's like, do those situations correlate? Am I just talking out my ass? Because I mean, that's a good point. Like that. That's true. That would happen. But anyways, been here for an hour. Appreciate you guys for watching. That's all I got for today. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I'll see you guys tomorrow. My voice, hopefully by tomorrow, my voice will be, back in action. But I'll see you guys tomorrow.